What's up you guys, it's Jeffrey and welcome to my brand new YouTube video. In today's video, I'll be reviewing Avengers Endgame. That is right, Avengers Endgame. We made it out of Endgame, guys. Most of us saw the movie already. Today, I'll be doing a spoiler-free review and then I'll move on to my spoiler review of the movie. So let's start with the spoiler-free review. First, I'm going to talk about what I liked about this movie. First of all, I love the acting, I love the visuals, I love the characters, I love the character arcs. I loved everything about this movie. There are only a few little things that I disliked, and we'll get onto those later on. I really loved Iron Man, Captain America, Black Widow's arcs. Those were amazing. Not believe what happened with those characters. I was like, dang it, that was amazing. And it was sad to see those characters go. I'll talk about how they left the MCU in my spoiler review, but anyway, I loved what they did with those characters. What I did not like about the movie, I didn't really like what they did with the Hulk. They didn't even show how he turned back into the Hulk. Didn't at all. That was disappointing. I want to see an epic scene where he turns back into Hulk, but I did not get that. Also did not get a fight with Thanos against the Hulk again. I wanted to see that, but it wasn't in there. I see why they did what they did with him. I'll talk about that more in my spoiler review. Man, it's so hard to talk about this movie but without spoiling it. It's so difficult. This sure was an epic conclusion to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Well, it's not done yet, but this is the end of the Infinity Saga. There will be more MCU movies after Avengers Endgame. There will be a Phase 4 movies, a whole lot of movies. But yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. I didn't really dislike that much about it. But yeah, it did have some flaws in it. Like what they did with Thanos. I'll talk about Thanos more in my spoiler review though. That is all I have to say about the spoiler-free stuff. Now, if you have not watched this movie, do not watch the rest of the video. Let's move on to spoilers. Let's start off with Iron Man. Oh boy. Iron Man was so amazing in this movie. It was a great send-off for him. His death was so sad. I was one of those people in the theater like, dang it, Iron Man is dead. And I like how the movie moved into 5 years later and we got Iron Man to have a child named Morgan. That was so cool. I love their scenes together. And I also love the scenes with Iron Man and Captain America rekindling their friendship. But oh man, Iron Man was so angry at the beginning of the movie at Captain America. And then when it moved to 5 years later, he was like, what the heck, we're friends again. We gotta stop Thanos. We gotta reverse the opinions. We got to reverse this thing together to bring everybody back. And I like that concept in a movie where they kill Thanos and then 5 years later, Ant-Man comes back and time machine time. That was so cool. That was one of my theories before the movie came out, that Ant-Man will come back and they will time travel to the quantum realm to get the Infinity Stones. That was my theory before the movie came out, and it happened. I was like, dang it, my theory happened. Captain America. I love where they took the character in this movie. I love how he was a leader for Avengers, like, let's do this, let's bring everybody back. And they did. They brought everybody back. In the final battle, I loved how Captain America was just standing up against Thanos with a broken shield, and then Boom, everybody came back. I'll talk about the rise of the characters at the end of this video. Black Widow. Man, oh man, her sacrifice with the Soul Stone was so sad. Black Widow is one of my favorite characters in the MCU, and it was sad to see her go. And her fight with Hawkeye before she died, I was like, dang, that's sad. When Nebula picked Black Widow and Hawkeye to go to Vormir, I was like, yeah, Black Widow is going. I just know it. Hawkeye has his family and all, and he needs to go back to them, and Black Widow doesn't have a family, so she doesn't have anybody to go back to. So it's like, yeah, Black Widow's gone. It's just sad that she cannot come back because she's trapped in the Soul Stone. Thor, oh boy, Thor. I kind of like what they did with the character in this movie, but some part of me doesn't. I just I like that he was depressed after not going for the head to kill Thanos in Infinity War. He should have gone for the head, and now he's a drunk. I'm like, seriously, Thor? You're gonna be a drunk? But I see why. He's just drunk because he's depressed that he did not go for the head in Infinity War. And his scenes were very hilarious in this movie. I give him credit. They were hilarious. Professor Hulk. Why didn't they show him transform into the Hulk? He was Banner in all of Infinity War. Why didn't they show him transform back into the Hulk? I wanted a scene with him and Thanos fighting. Did not get that scene. But yeah, it was so cool when the Hulk snapped his fingers to bring everybody back. Hawkeye. I like that he had a lot of screen time in this movie. And I'm so excited for his TV show on Disney+. Hawkeye is one of my favorites in the MCU, and I was so happy that he got all the screen time that he needed. And the opening scene of the movie was so shocking to see his whole family turn to dust. I was like, dang it, I knew that was going to happen. I knew there was going to be an opening scene where they show his family disappear. And the scene with Black Widow was so sad. Ant-Man. Ant-Man had a whole lot of screen time in this movie. And I like that this movie was mostly kind of about him in a way, because he went up to the Avengers and he was like, hey, let's do time travel. That was so cool. And the scenes with Iron Man, Captain America, and Hulk when they went to New York was so cool. And I loved when Thanos dropped grenades on the Avengers compound and he was looking at a butterfly and then whoosh! Goodbye, Avengers headquarters. That was a cool scene. And it was so awesome in the final battle too, with the van, when him and the Wasp went to the van to open the portal so Captain Marvel can go through to take back the Infinity Stones through time. That was so cool. War Machine. War Machine didn't get that much screen time in this movie, which was disappointing. Well, he doesn't really get that much screen time in the movies anyway. But I loved the scenes with Nebula when they went back to Morag and he hit Peter Quill. That was so cool. And scene with Tony dying, that was so sad with him, Spider-Man, and Pepper. That was so sad. Nebula had so much to do in this movie, and this is the movie where she has a lot to do. And I loved her scenes with Tony in the beginning of the movie when they were playing paper football. That was so cool. And I loved when she traveled back in time to Morag in 2014 with War Machine. there was passing Nebula and Thanos and past Gamora. Holy cow, those scenes were so cool. I'll talk about more about past Thanos when I get to Thanos. Rocket. The Rocket had a lot to do in this movie, and I loved his scenes with Thor. And when he went back to New Asgard to bring Thor back to Avengers headquarters, that was so awesome. Rocket was hilarious in this movie for sure. I felt sorry for him that his whole family was gone. The Guardians of the Galaxy was gone. It was just him and Nebula. That was so sad. His family got dusted, and he was the only Guardian remaining. Captain Marvel. She was only moved for 10 minutes. She literally did nothing but blow at Thanos and fight Thanos during the final battle and save Tony Stark in the beginning of the movie. Yeah, she really had nothing to do, but I loved the scenes that she was in. She was so cool. I think I liked her more than I did in Captain Marvel. I cannot wait to see her in more MCU movies in the future. okay, nah. Yeah, her. She had nothing to do in this movie. She was just not really there. I was disappointed that I did not get enough of her in this movie. And she was one of the surviving people in the movie, and they did not give her nothing to do. She was just there. Rise of the Dead characters. When all those characters came out of those portals during the final battle, I was like, yes, they're all back. I was the loudest person in the theater, and I was cheering, I was clapping. I was so excited during that final battle when all of them returned. Oh, I forgot to talk about Thanos. Yeah, Thanos dies in the beginning of the movie. Thor chops his head off. He destroyed all of the Infinity Stones. Yeah. And then 5 years later, Avengers go back in time to bring everybody back. They go to get the Infinity Stones. And then when Nebula and War Machine go to Morag 2014, Thanos shows up and kidnaps future Nebula and tells passing Nebula to go back into the future to bring to open a portal so that way he can go to the future to destroy all the Avengers. He finds out that he gets killed by them in the future. That's right. Yeah, Thanos was so crazy in the past. It was so scary to see him that way. I was like, dang, he's so BA. He's more BA than the present Thanos that they just killed 5 years ago. Yeah, that Thanos was so crazy. The final battle was so epic. I loved it. It is the most epic final battle that I've seen in any movie. It is more epic than the final battle in Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows Part 2. Like, seriously, it was so good. In conclusion, this movie was amazing. I recommend you to go see it in IMAX. Because this movie was filmed in IMAX cameras. And IMAX gives you more depth of the movie. It gives you big sounds, big speakers. When there's an explosion, oh man, you lose it when you see it in IMAX. Yeah, I recommend go see it in IMAX, because this movie was made for IMAX. And I'll give this movie an A+. This was the most epic movie that I've seen in years. Go see this movie. Take your whole family, just go see the movie, please. Alright, hope you all enjoyed my review of Avengers Endgame. And I'll see you all in my next video. Take care. Bye.